Welcome to Parenthood Bites, the podcast where we explore life as a parent in tech. I'm your host, Chow, and I have over 15 years of experience in tech, and I'm also currently working as a career coach. I'm the proud mother of 3 incredible boys. In each episode, we have an inspiring guest who will share their remarkable story. You'll find their wisdom and insights both relatable and enriching, because after all, we're all in this parenting journey together. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's dive into today's episode. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 46 of Parenthood Bites. We're here today with my son Darian, who isn't a parent in tech, but is a child of parents in tech. Hi Darian, how are you today?
Hello, I am doing pretty good today.
That's good. Is it because it's a weekend and there's no school?
Yeah, but tomorrow's a Monday, so there's gonna be more homework and everything.
But that's another day, right?
That's another day, yeah.
So enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Yes.
So, how old are you and what grade are you in?
I am 14 years old and I am a ninth grader, so a freshman in a high school.
High school, that's exciting. How do you like high school so far?
I think it's similar to middle school, but there's just more freedom and more work.
What do you mean by more freedom?
Like, you can use your phones at lunch, and it's an open campus, well, at least my high school. So I feel like it gives us more freedom in between, like, periods and everything.
Nice. Do a lot of kids go off campus at lunch?
Yeah, like in my fifth period, I would see people drinking drinks that they got from like shops outside of the campus.
Oh, so that's interesting. Have you gone off campus yet?
No, I have not. I've been too scared to.
Yeah, I think it's safer to stay on campus, especially when you're a freshman, at least like when you get more familiar.
Yeah, I agree.
So, how many siblings do you have and how old are they?
I have two siblings. Xander is 12 and Lucas is 8.
Got it. So, growing up, did your parents send you to like daycare after school? Tell me a little bit about what that was like.
So I remember being in an after school, but I forgot like everything else. Where did I go?
So, I think you were in daycare, right? And then like you were in daycare from like 8 to 6 every day, and we try to pick you up earlier, and then later when you went to elementary.
Oh, preschool, right?
Yeah, daycare slash preschool. And then later, when you went to elementary school, they picked you up for after school. And then you would go to their after school program until 5 or 6, and we would pick you up. And so you would come home
Yes.
for dinner and stuff. So, I was just curious. That's a really long time, after school and things.
It was a really long time.
And I know that I always felt really bad for sending you there. And also, your dad did too, because he would always try to get off work as early as possible to go pick you up. But, like, how did you feel?
I was mostly sad about how there was homework, but I didn't really understand it at the time. I thought it was weird how other people would get off at like 3 and like I didn't know why I was being sent to the program, but I didn't really like the program cuz they gave extra like homework for no reason at all. Like I think I held a grudge for that. Some days I would be like hungry cuz I would go home later, but that's okay cuz I like ate a lot when I got home. So
But didn't sometimes at like after school they would give you like cupcakes and candy and just random treats?
they did?
Yeah, you would come home with all these random treats. I guess you don't remember.
Oh, well, I forgot.
I guess you just remember the negative
The bad
experience.
parts. Yeah.
And so you stopped going to after school, I think, like once the pandemic started, right? Once the pandemic started, you and your brothers went to school at home. And then, like, we were also home, obviously. And then after that, we continued to work from home and would pick you up after school. So, what was kind of the difference between being at home after school versus going to after school care?
I definitely enjoyed being home more because like it was more privacy and it felt more comfortable here and I could like take rests and everything. I just felt like after school was considered part of like school. So my school days never really ended until like 6 p.m. when I finally got home.
Hmm.
But with us going back home right after school, I think it was a better experience for me because it made me more relaxed and I could eat like snacks whenever I wanted. And that was definitely a plus.
But I think also part of it was because your after school program, they gave you a lot of work, right? If it was all play.
Yeah, that was really weird. I didn't know why they did that. That was like kind of annoying.
But then you did really well in school, right?
Yes, yes, I did. But then the pandemic happened, so.
I was curious going to after school and all of that. Did you ever feel like we were abandoning you or like we liked you any less? Like, did that ever happen? Or it was just like, oh man, after school, I'm not home yet, but that was it.
I don't think I felt like abandoned or anything. I understood that you guys both had to go and work, but I think it was just like the extra work. Of course, this isn't like the experience for like everyone. This was just me, but I felt like you guys weren't abandoning me. It was just like another part of school. Like I thought it was normal. I thought everyone had after school. So I was kind of surprised when people got to go home early and eat snacks and watch TV.
And then that became your reality.
Yes, 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 yes.
So tell me a little bit about the pandemic because you were in what grade were you? You were in fifth grade.
Half of fourth grade and then fifth grade and sixth grade were both pandemic.
You were going to school at home. And what was that like? Do you feel like it slowed down your studies?
I definitely feel like it slowed down my studies. Back then, I thought it was like the greatest thing ever because it was school from home. But like in like the first year, fourth grade, it would be like 1 hour of school. And then later on, fifth and sixth grade, it was just a lot easier because there was like the internet where we could search stuff up or like we could like ask our parents for help. It just didn't feel like actual school. And I feel like that made me take school less seriously and made my studies decrease. And I think back then I was really happy, but now I'm not so happy because I'm facing the consequences right now.
Did it make it harder when you went back to in person school?
Yeah, it definitely did.
How did it affect your social life? Did you feel like you had trouble adjusting to people in person?
I think it did because what happened was my year, my fourth grade class, most of them went back to school in sixth grade. But because I have two brothers, because there were three of us, COVID would have been more harsh towards us. So we stayed home for sixth grade as well. And I think that was a bit of a problem for me because when I went back, they were all like making friends already. And I was the only like one that was new to the middle school experience.
That's true because they already had like 1 year in middle school, right?
Yeah, and they like made friends, made groups. But that's okay.
And for context, I think like for your sixth grade, we had the option of sending you to in person or doing online schooling. And because we would have had three kids at two different schools and it was like a higher risk and we didn't have shots yet, we decided to just stay home during that year.
Yeah, and like use the safer route.
Yeah. But in retrospect, maybe we should have just gone like everyone else, but
I mean, sixth grade was fun, but like I don't feel like I learned anything, you know? So
do you feel like the pandemic kind of affected how you use electronic devices?
oh, it definitely did, yeah. Before electronics would just be like go on YouTube for like an hour and like play games for a little bit. But over the pandemic I learned like a lot more about electronics. I got deeper into like the internet and everything. And now I feel like I like have to use it. But I don't really know if it's because of the pandemic or if it's because I'm just growing up. But I feel like I'm a lot more dependent on electronics, which isn't really a good thing. But that's okay.
I remember when we were in Taiwan and you didn't bring your phone. We went out and you were like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I don't have my phone.
I almost cried. It was really sad.
You did. I was really sad too. I was like, I think we need to practice taking you out without your phone, getting you used to it
Yeah.
because that's not good. You shouldn't be so reliant on your phone.
I mean, it's definitely not good, but oh well.
Do all your friends have phones?
Yeah.
So we got you a phone when you were 12.
Yes.
How old did your friends get phones?
I think a lot of them around the same time, like seventh grade or maybe even eighth grade. I think there's just a few that got before in like fifth grade or something.
I guess having seen your friends with phones, your brother with a phone, you with a phone, how old do you feel like kids should get phones?
I think they definitely can't be too young because there's a lot on the internet and it's really dangerous for children or like even like adults because there's a lot of scams, hackers, etc. I think a good age would be like around when they start middle school, 5th grade, 6th grade, because I feel like then they're starting to mature. But I don't know, that's just my opinion.
And obviously, if there's anything suspicious, you should talk to your parents.
Of course.
Pretend I'm not your mom.
What?
Would you feel comfortable asking your parents about things that like pop up on your phone, or like if you're confused, should I be looking at this? Would you feel comfortable asking us about it?
I mean, yeah, like I don't care.
That's good. And so, as the oldest kid, I feel like you have a lot of responsibilities, right? I know I myself, a lot of times when maybe I'm going to the bathroom or something, I'm like, "Hey, Darian, watch your younger brothers." Do you feel like that's too much responsibility on you? Because there have been times where I was like, "Oh man, am I putting too much on him just because he's the oldest?" But I try to balance it out by like giving you a reward or something. I don't know. But how do you feel about it?
I don't think it's too much responsibility because like Xander, my brother, he usually just takes most of it because like I'm actually quite a lazy person. So when it's feed the dog, I'll be like, how do you feed the dog? And Xander would end up doing it. So I don't think it's actually that bad because I usually just Xander helps me by like doing like most of the stuff.
He does. He does. Shout out to Xander. But at the same time, I think when you were younger, before Xander was old enough to be so helpful, I had you do a lot of things, to take care of Xander and stuff.
Oh. Yeah, I don't really remember much of that, but like I don't think it was that bad because Xander was a good kid, like he was all like nice and like obedient. So it was pretty easy to take care of him. But I don't know. Other families around the world, it could be a lot different depending on the circumstances. But I don't know. I think I just got like pretty lucky.
So, since we're in Silicon Valley, I think there's a lot of kids whose parents work at big tech companies, right? Like Google, Meta.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Is it a topic that comes up with kids? Do you feel like, oh no, my parents don't work at Meta and that feels worse? Is that a thing that comes up?
No, I just think this generation, they don't really care. They mostly just talk about like games and everything. I think it's more of a thing of like when you get older, like where should I work, not where do my parents work.
That's interesting. Because, I'll hear friends where they're like, oh, I talked to my kids' classmates' parents and they work at Meta and Google, and here I am at like a smaller company and they feel a certain kind of way. But then for kids, when you observe it, it doesn't bother you.
I think they usually just say it as a fact, like not to brag or anything. And I don't think it's that important, at least to me, anyways, because it's just different paths that people are taking. And I think that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that I always wondered is that, I think when I had really long days at work that were really stressful, sometimes when I walk out of this room and I see you guys, the smallest thing might make me yell at you and stuff. And I always felt really, really guilty about that. But is that something that you remember or that has traumatized you? Do you still experience that now that I'm not as stressed? And you can be honest. This is a safe place.
Oh, of course. I don't think like it traumatized me because I don't remember much of it. But like I do remember like sometimes when like I was like asking you a question and you got like mad at me. It wasn't really I'm so traumatized. It was like broski, why are you doing this? Like it was more of confusion, not traumatization. But again, that's just me. I think I was just like stupid as a child, so I didn't know much.
But sometimes we also talked about it. And did you understand it when we talked about it?
No,
Okay.
I did not.
Okay. And I have this question is more, I guess, for your age group is I think a lot of times when you come home from school, I think this was a phase, maybe you're kind of past that phase, but there is a time period when you come home from school and I ask you, how was school? And you're just like, it's fine. And I'm like, tell me something. And you're just like, it's fine. What do you think parents can do to get your kid to open up?
I think they should ask more specific questions. Like, not saying anything was wrong with your questions. It's just when you're asked to tell us something about it, it's usually just like an average day. There's nothing important about the day. So I think maybe parents should ask about events happening, like tests or quizzes, or like we started the swimming unit, and on the first day of swimming, after you asked me like how was swimming, and I could answer that because something eventful actually happened, as opposed to saying like how was your day, like tell me something about your day. In any normal day I wouldn't be able to answer that because there's like nothing important to tell.
Yeah. So it's not that you don't want to tell me anything, it's just you're not sure exactly what to talk about.
Exactly, yes.
Got it. So now that you're in high school, are you planning to join any sports or any clubs?
No, I have no plans to because I just want to be lazy.
Well, I think you should join something because it's going to help with your college applications. Didn't you go to a club?
Oh, oh, yes. I remember. So like the announcements, they said that like if you went to the meeting, you would get a free donut. So I went, and I listened to their like whole 50-minute presentation about presenting in front of like internationally or whatever. And then they're like, oh, you get this donut if you just finish this form. So I had to finish the freaking form. And then when I finally finished the form, like when I finally turned it in, I was like asking the person next to me, what was that? Why did I have to fill out a form? And then they said it was the freaking registration. And then you know what the worst part is though? When I was walking outside the donut boxes, the donuts were cut into pieces. So I didn't even get a full donut. I got half a donut for signing up to this random club that scams people. I literally spent my entire lunchtime for it.
That's really sad.
It is. It's actually really, really sad. And like I don't know how I'm gonna recover from something like this.
But what was the club about? Is it something that
I forgot.
you're interested in?
No.
Well, I would encourage you to go check out more clubs and kind of see if there's one that you're interested in. I think they were pretty smart
Yeah.
to draw you in with a donut.
Half a donut.
How about this? If you sign up for a club that I think is going to help you academically, I will give you a donut.
What?
Yes, I will buy you a donut. If you go to 2 clubs, I will buy you 2 donuts. How about that?
Wow. Wow.
Okay, you just come tell me what the club is, what it's about. You have to tell me what it's about, okay?
I don't know where to find information.
And then you sign up. We'll get you a donut.
Oh man.
An entire donut, not half, and a fresh donut, okay?
Wow. No scams, right?
No scam.
Alright.
So in terms of the pandemic, I was curious sort of how did that affect your relationship with your family? Because you were all home, all 5 of you.
Oh yeah, we were all here like all day. Like I didn't get strengthen our bonds because I had to see their faces more. Well, wait, no, your faces, your amazing faces. Okay, I had to see your amazing, super beautiful faces more. So that was interesting. I think it forced us to talk to each other more as well and ask questions more, talk to each other. And we knew more about each other's day. So it made our relationship stronger.
Do you feel like even after the pandemic, we're still able to talk like that? Or do you feel like it's lessened?
I think you still can talk like that, but I don't know if it's lessened or not because now we have more work, more homework, more responsibilities. So like after school, we would be like staying in our rooms for a bit, but we can still talk about that at dinner or just whenever.
So, at your current age, being 14 in ninth grade with a lot of hard classes, how can your parents support you right now? What's the best thing your parents can do for you?
Probably do my homework, but that would be wrong. So the best thing they could do is give me snacks. Like buy me snacks so that when I come home from school and I'm all tired, they're like, wow, here's a bag of hot Cheetos. And I'm like, wow, thank you.
I won't lie. That happened to me in ninth grade.
What?
I came home one day and grandma, I kid you not, okay? She just went to Costco. She bought a 5-pound bag of gummy bears, a big tub of chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, and a big thing of mini M&Ms. And I was like, oh my God, this is the best day of my life. They do love me so much, so much. Like, it was amazing. So
That's really nice.
I hope that, one day you have that feeling too.
Yes. It would be nice if hot Cheetos and gummy bears appeared when I came home from school.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be.
But I mean, emotionally and things, how can we support you? Like, I want to make sure
emotionally.
I want to make sure you do well in high school and you feel
Yeah.
comfortable talking to me. And I know it's like a whole different pace, right? A whole different thing. So, like, what can we do to support you?
So I think probably give time when I need it and help me with my like homework when I need it as well. Just let me have more time to like study or do my homework when I'm in need of it. And when I'm confused on something, I'll just come to you guys and like ask for help. Like, how do you do question 24 on the math homework? Because it's hard.
Okay, that sounds good. I asked you a lot of questions kind of reflecting on how I've felt raising you and your brothers. What do you feel like is something that other parents in tech should hear?
I think if you're working a 9 to 5 job and you're like unable to pick up your child straight from home, be there for them like 24/7, I think the best thing you could do is just support them wherever you can and try to just make good memories for them, because that's what happened with me. I was in after school, but when I was home, they would help me with homework, they would eat dinner with me and ask about my days and stuff. I think that's the most you can do to try and make the child feel better. That's my opinion.
It's good. And what would you tell other kids who has, parents in tech?
I think they should know that their parents are still trying their best, even if they can't see them every day right after school or anything. Like, even if you have to go to after school, your parents are still trying your best. And I think the best thing you can do in this situation is to try and make good memories, try to spend time with your parents, and just try to do your best. And I think it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all good in the end.
And don't get mad if your parents yell at you because they might have just had a bad day.
Yes.
Do you feel like you would want a career in tech when you grow up?
I think you have to in this economy because everyone's relying like so much on technology, on internet, on phones, iPads, computers. I think you need to have at least something that's related to technology. So I think probably yes. And because like math and everything sounds so boring. Ew.
But you got to do math if you want to be in engineering.
What?
If you want to
What?
be an engineer, you got to take a lot of math classes.
Why?
Cuz
I don't want to be a worker in tech. I would want like a career in something fun. I changed my mind. Was there a lot of math
for what?
in like technology? When you were like trying to become like an engineer, did you have to do a lot of math?
Yeah, so I majored in computer science and I had to take a lot of math classes.
Oh man.
But it's not that bad.
Do you feel like it was worth it in the long run?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
That's good.
Yeah, I think it was good in the long run because there was a period of time in college where I was like, maybe I don't want to do computer science because it's hard. But then grandpa was like, no, you should try it. It's going to be rewarding in the end. And so I stuck to it and I tried my best and then stuck to it. And then when I started working and stuff, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Because you find that even though you major in computer science, like there's so many options, so many things you can do.
Yeah.
Like you don't necessarily need to be a programmer. You can be like a project manager, a product manager. You could be QA. You could be, anything you want. So it's not specific to one thing.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know any of the things you just said, but I agree. So in terms of like career wise, do you feel like the pandemic benefited you or like it affected you negatively? Like obviously it was a very negative thing and it harmed most of us. But do you feel like in the long run the career like opened more the pandemic opened more like paths or it made your paths like more limited?
That's an interesting question.
Thank you.
I think that it more changed the way I viewed work and the way I wanted to work. So, for example, before the pandemic, I would take bar or drive to work, right? And then I would pick you guys up really, really late. And then during pandemic, I
yes.
realized what it was like to be able to work from home every day and then like be able to see you guys whenever I wanted to. And after that, I guess in a way it limited me because I only wanted to take on roles that gave me that flexibility. After seeing, wow, this is what life could be like, I didn't want to go back to having to commute 5 days a week. I just really didn't want to because I realized how much I could do being at home.
It's like having a taste of really good food and then not wanting to go back to your $1 food.
Right. And also like, after having taken BART every day, for those that aren't in the Bay Area, BART is the Bay Area Rapid Transit. And I'd seen some things on BART that I never want to see again. And so
yeah, you told me about that guy that was peeing on it.
No, it was a lady that was pooping on BART. And like that was like the one time I'd seen every single person on that train uniformly get up and move. I was like, oh my gosh, why is everyone moving? Because like my eyes aren't that good. And then I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta go too. And I think, seeing that and stuff, I think after that I tried to drive, but then traffic was really crazy. And so after working from home for a while, I realized that, wow, I don't want to find another role that goes into the office or even hybrid. Like hybrid, I guess I could do, but I'd rather not. And so I think in that sense, it limited me quite a bit.
I see. So it wasn't pro or con. It wasn't like positive or negative. It more changed your whole way. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I think the other thing about the pandemic is that because we were all at home, I didn't really have a boundary for when I stopped working. So it was like, because it was always at my fingertips and it was like I was always just turn on my computer and I'm working. And so after a while, that really wears you down and you're just like, oh my gosh, I've been in front of the computer too long. And so then you realize, like, I really need to start setting boundaries. And because of that, I started to realize that I needed to set better boundaries for myself as well.
Yeah, I think the pandemic gave a lot of us bad habits because we've just been stuck at home for too long.
Yeah.
So it's like one of like the biggest what ifs is like what if like the pandemic didn't like strike and like make us all go stay in our homes for like 3 years.
Yeah, I think for sure I would still be going into the office.
Ooh, that's not good.
And you would probably still be going to after school care.
Ooh, that's not good. That's actually not good.
So I was curious, kind of, what is the biggest fear you have about high school?
Probably failing because high school is when your grades matter. Middle school, it matters a little bit. Elementary school is bye bye. Like, it doesn't matter. But high school probably matters quite a bit. I think at least because it can get you into a good college. It doesn't help with your resume or anything, but with a good college, you could do like so much more things. So I think high school is when things start to get important, and to fail at the high school, which is the start of when you can try and actually do things, that's scary.
Would you want to go to college near home or far away?
I would prefer near home because then I get to see you guys. But if it's far away, I wouldn't mind too much.
Got it. And I was curious about, so last week I went to your brother's back to school night, and some of the teachers are saying, like, hey, if you use Chat GPT, then we're going to catch you and stuff. Is that something that was mentioned in your school? Is that something that teachers are worried about or kids talk about using?
It definitely is. They talk about how if you use AI, like Gemini or whatever that is, or ChatGPT, they'll like catch you or whatever. But they say like some sites, for example, Turnitin.com, they say it has like plagiarism checks that can like check to see if you're plagiarizing or if you're copying from anywhere. But I don't know if like they're really telling the truth, because how can you tell if we're copying it from AI? AI like responses are generated for each person. They're all different. And like if you ask the AI itself, like, did you write this? It's not gonna be accurate. I've seen videos of people writing something and then asking AI if they wrote it, and the AI would say that yes, I wrote it, but really they didn't. So I don't think it's very accurate so far.
So you don't really think there's really a way to catch?
I think the only way they can catch is if that's not how they normally write. If the words are more sophisticated, if it's more advanced, then you can catch. But if they're not plagiarizing, I don't see how they can. But maybe I'm wrong because I'm not very smart about anything digitally. But that's just my opinion.
Have you heard of any of your classmates getting caught?
No, not yet.
Do your classmates use AI to do their homework?
Not to do homework. I think most of them just use it to get ideas. For example, if their prompt,
Like as reference.
yeah, reference, and then they can build up on that. But they don't copy it, I think, at least. If they do, they haven't told me.
Awesome. Well, I think that's most of the questions I had today. The last question I wanted to ask, Darian, is teach me something that young people say so that
Oh,
I understand when I see a young person saying it.
okay. Do you know what bet is? Bet.
Like, okay or sure, right? Like, I'll meet you at 10 o'clock and then you go bet.
Bet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Cap.
Lie.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So no cap is no lie.
Salty. You know salty.
Salty is like you're like bitter.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Slay. You know that.
Slay is like you're crushing it.
Okay, yeah.
Like you're awesome.
Goat. Do you know goat? He's the goat.
Is like you're awesome.
Yeah, basically. It's an acronym. It stands for greatest of all time.
Okay. But you got to give me a new one.
Phantom tax.
Tell me what phantom tax is.
According to Google, it says it's like when you steal food from friends. So Google is using it as my friend took a big phantom tax out of my pizza when I wasn't looking.
But that's not something you would use,
I would not
right?
use that.
Teach me a word that you would use. Teach me a word that you would use with your friends.
Giving. Giving is like it's reminding me of, or like it's giving me the vibes of something. For example, When someone looks like really old, you would say it's giving a dead person.
That's so mean.
No, like they're not old. Like the person isn't old, but like they're dressed in like very like old clothes, like
But you just said when the person's old and they're like a dead person.
no, that's not what I meant. You know what I mean, right?
So when they're dressed like an old person.
Okay, someone might post a picture of themselves in a particularly flashy or outrageous outfit and caption it, it's giving disco fever. Because like a disco ball is very like bright and like shiny. So if their outfit is very outrageous and loud kind of flashy, that would be similar to a disco ball. So they're saying like it's reminding me of a disco ball.
I see. So if someone looked really scary, I'd be like,
It's giving murder.
it's giving a haunted house.
Oh, a haunted house. You don't really compare a person to a haunted house. I would say like it's giving like murderer because they look like a murderer then,
Oh.
or like
Okay.
or like it's giving like criminal.
I see. Or like if someone looked like a serial killer doll, I'd be like, it's giving Chucky.
Chucky. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Well, thank you, Darian.
You're welcome.
Thank you for taking time out of your Sunday to chat with us today. I really appreciate it, and I wish you the best of luck in 9th grade. And remember, you can always tell your parents things. They're always here for you. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Alright. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Parenthood Bites. We hope you found our episode informative and entertaining. If you're a parent in the tech world or know someone who is, we'd love to hear from you. Please reach out to us at chow@parenthoodbites.co, and we'll be thrilled to add your experiences to our interviews. That's chow, CHIAO, @parenthoodbites.co. And to our potential sponsors out there, if you're a business or know of one that would like to support and partner with our podcast, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can also reach us at chow@parenthoodbites.co. Thank you once again for tuning in, and we wish you a fantastic rest of your week. Until next time, take care and stay curious.